Welcome back to Courage Cocktail. I'm your host, Lea-Ann McClymont. This is WCOM FM Radio, 103.5 on your dial, Chapel Hill, Scarborough. Our guests with guts are sitting here patiently in the studio. I'd like to introduce two guests with guts to you. First, Miss Lea-Ann Berst. Now, she is the owner and founder of a company called Sled Dog Marketing Management. And her website is www.sleddog.com. I have to spell it for you. It's www.sleddog.com. And Sled Dog was in the news recently in our Triangle Business Journal and citing Lea-Ann Berst as a Woman in Business awardee. She is the principal business consultant at Sled Dog Marketing Management. Companies hire Lea-Ann as an outsourced global marketer who helps them make an impact at an event or helps them with an important marketing project. Now, I'm going to introduce how she found Alicia. During an important marketing project, Microsoft needed to convince a certain segment of their employee base to do something that they may not deem special for them to do. Alicia worked with Lea-Ann to develop an informative video, one that could be split into 3 distinct videos if needed, to demonstrate the value of the learning program. We're going to talk about how it benefited the employee and improved both their professional and personal life.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, listeners, they've been sitting patiently with us, and they are huge fans of Alicia's work and, of course, of Alicia herself. But I wanted to ask each one of you if you could briefly tell me a little bit. I'm going to start with Lea-Ann. Lea-Ann, has this been good for your business?
Video?
Yes.
Oh, certainly. In my position and in what I do, I have to bring somebody like Alicia into the gig that I'm working on and make sure that I have a professional that can move quick and understand what the requirements are. So when I bring somebody like Alicia onto the team, then she makes me look good. So yeah, certainly it's good for my business.
So now I'm beginning to see something, and I think my listeners are a smart group. What you're doing is you're making this behind-the-scenes, transparent, professional production companies, and you're putting it directly into the people's hands. Am I getting this right? Alicia's over there nodding.
Yeah, so we're talking about Lea-Ann and her role.
Yes.
So Lea-Ann is this super, I call her, 007, Lea-Ann. She's like the super, she's not a spy, but she's pretty amazing with regard to just adapting, here we go again, adapting to a company and not only their philosophy and their mission, but she's brought on board because she's a brilliant marketer and they know they need to augment their staff, to add to their staff and bring her on. And she gets taskings, and in this particular Microsoft case, she needed a tasking for a video campaign that would help get people excited about something that wasn't particularly sexy or it wasn't the popular vote. So we had to make it the popular vote, and we had to make it sexy by telling the story.
Now, are you at liberty to tell us a little bit more detail?
I can tell you a little.
Okay.
I can tell you, I walked in the door. I'll tell you the story about how I approached Alicia with the project.
Yes.
I walked in on a Thursday. I was on a conference call. And the way that it is in corporate, globally corporate, conference calls that end with, let's make it happen right away, we're in a hurry. I got into the car the next morning, drove to Alicia's office, and I said, okay, I have a project that I'd like to see if you can handle. The project is, and I gave her the scope. The scope is it has to be global, has to speak to people who speak English. However, it's not their native language in most parts of the world. This has to come in 3 parts. We have 3 purposes, but when it's run in one, it has to be one big, beautiful, somewhat movie. We have to play it online, and we have to convince people that they're special to do something that today they feel like if they're chosen to do it, it's not that big a deal. Alicia said, oh, okay. And I said, okay, no, I'm not done yet. I need certain special technology for you to incorporate this into, because this is a particular technology company and they need us to use their product. I said, can you do this? She said, sure. When do you need to know? I said, well, today's Friday. Can I know by Monday? And I have to tell you, I found out by Monday. I had my, my pricing met, and I was able to pitch that. You know, when you pitch any project in the corporate environment.
I told you by Sunday afternoon.
Oh yeah, well, you have a better memory. It's probably what you did. She hit the ground running. She worked really hard to make sure she met our requirements. She understood what we needed based on what we thought we needed at that time.
Okay.
And, then the world took off from there. Her solution was, after meeting with her people and coming back and saying, okay, this is how long it'll take me, this is how much it'll cost you, this is what I think we will achieve. And it's not as simple in the corporate world to do that kind of thing. There's all sorts of executives you have to put that through. So that's a tough road to go on. And we had literally seconds to do this in that environment. But she came up with animation. And in my career, I never used animation in the corporate environment to convince somebody to do something that they may or may not want to do. She did an amazing job.
Well, okay, we got to fill in some context here. Sure. You are a successful marketing person, is that right? Is that your line of work?
Success?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Very successful. So your impression is that your basis for establishing a project, beginning, middle, and end, is what is the scope of the assignment, what is our clear objective, and how do we measure if we've been successful?
Exactly.
Wow.
Thank you for pointing that out, yes.
Because what we've heard again and again, and I have not spoken it until now, is that this is a medium that can give you statistics back. It talks back to you. And sure, we can talk about the depth of our relationship with clients, but also it is important that we reach a certain amount of volume of people who have seen our messages. So your work is very defined to helping people sell something and helping understand what the value is of their product or services.
Exactly.
Whether it's to an outside customer or internally as a HR proposal or something.
Right, and the word value is the key, and Alicia mentioned this earlier. In this perspective, we had to show the value of this program to employees all over the world. And at the end of the day, integrating the video with other marketing tools that we had, we were able to show a consistent story that was powerful, that hit on their core beliefs, their core needs, and their wants that they want in life. So it wasn't just you're going to advance in your career if you do this. It's you'll be able to see your kids. It all depended on the situation. And in our case, we'll save you time, and it's not just we'll save you time and money, because that's an old marketing statement.
It's hard to get passionate about that when you're an employee. When you're a business owner, that's a different story.
Right, and but what Alicia picked up on was, well, these people travel all the time, and they don't get to stay home and see their kids. She picked up on that, and so there's a part of this video where you see somebody going into the airport with their briefcase, realizing they really don't need to travel to learn this stuff. The person, in a very funny way, takes the briefcase, throws it away, turns around and goes back home. And it made everyone who saw that chuckled. They got it. And that's the next point, is you show value, and the next thing that you see is what I call a head nod. Oh, I get it. And that's the key, and that's why I enjoy working with Alicia. She gets it.
Well, and Alicia is serving as an ambassador to our craft of learning more about the integration, the convergence of a digital platform, the voices, the artwork, the videos, and then, of course, the constant stream of content, whether it's a blog or a Twitter feed or whatever it might be.
When Mike is talking, and he's talking about taking risks and developing that relationship, this is the way of the world now. When you're developing that relationship, when you're thinking about the internet and you're thinking about social media, we're all moving into a path into a future, the future that you see,
yes.
Lea-Ann. We're moving into this future where we're not going to buy anything unless somebody tells us to buy something. I'm not going to listen to a TV commercial to go buy that widget. I'm going to listen to my friend on Facebook that recommended that. So how else can you do this? Mike's not going to Facebook everybody in our area, but what he's going to do is develop that relationship through video.
Right.
And even though he's thinking right now, well, I went out there and I told everybody about who I am and I showed my true self. Alicia, I have to tell you, knew that, yeah, we had to tell his true self to the world. But the whole purpose of this video is relationship building. Get people to understand who he is, let him in the door, and recommend him.
Well, and of course, where the story can either take off or fall apart is, do you deliver on the goods? You know, it's one thing to have an audition. It's an entirely another thing to be a consistent performer. And I can tell by your business and the whole plan that's gone on, it's clearly you have done that. And so have you, Lea-Ann, with the constant calls and people coming back for the quality of your work. It's not just that audition. It's that this is a connection. This is who I am. That authenticity becomes invaluable ally in making the client know what you see is what you get.
Yeah, that's really important. And me as a business owner, I mean, I take it very seriously who I take on as a client, because, you know, my words on their video, I have to believe as much in their product and service as I do in my own company. And in fact, I join teams really quickly. So like Mike, I'm like Mike's biggest fan. Like, he can come to me with whatever question he has, because I believe in him and I believe in his follow through so much. That's how I was able to pull the story out. So, you know, if you hire a marketer, they have to believe in you. If you don't, the best won't come out. That's what I believe personally.
Now, as we're wrapping up this hour, I know we didn't talk about hard numbers. We didn't talk about dollars and cents. Mike alluded to something that suggests that for every dollar he spent making a video, he got at least 10 back, or approximately 10 back. What has been your experience with your clients on a range? Can you say, do you know what the ROI, return on investment, may be?
Gosh, you know, my guarantee is, you know, I don't really
Hard
have,
slang.
right?
My guarantee.
I guarantee it. Men's Warehouse. But I love to say that 4 times. I mean, I want your investment to at least be, you know, quadruple what you've invested in me. Okay. So but my clients range. I mean, I've worked with real estate agents. They'll sell one house and they'll pay for me like 2 times over. Or, you know, like in Mike's case, you know, he's got to clean a lot of carpets. Him and his team to pay for the investment. I have different range of services though, but look at Mike has had that video. I have to disclose this. So we just did a new one this week, but his video has been on there for 2 years, Lea-Ann, because
2 years.
It's not outdated. I mean, he is who he is. You know,
right.
And actually, he still looks the same. 2 years.
Oh, thank you.
Good for you.
So
I work my hardest.
I don't.
I run all the time. I'm just kidding.
No, but
good.
so he's using it again and again, and not only that, Lea-Ann, but once you create the video, it can work for you again and again and again and again. And so like, people fall in love with this company. They don't just have to say, "Hey Sue, go hire this guy Mike," and hand him his number. She'll forward him the link to his website so she can see Mike for herself again. So it's like it sells you again and again. So ROI is brilliant.
It's a thoughtful campaign, and what I appreciate you underlining, the value is that it has a very long expiration
Long
date.
shelf life, yes.
Long shelf life.
No
And
preservatives.
No preservatives, because it's really revealing the truth. That's a wonderful thing about the truth. It has this habit of sticking around when everything else falls away. And I wonder if, Lea-Ann, you could explain to me a little bit in kind of closing remarks, when you consider what you tell your clients, because you're sled dog marketing, about their expectations of an effective professional video, what is one of the first things that you tell them to do?
Well, in my environment, I have to always promise an ROI. I have to admit that. I'll use Alicia again as an example. We had online learning, and these employees needed to sign up. And we had a campaign that we had to promise, and this wasn't something we said, we'll make a video and let's see what happens.
I see.
We had to commit to tripling or even increasing even more than that the enrollment of employees. And it didn't stop at that. We had to go after certain segments of the market. So we had to go after, for example, Asia Pacific. So ROI is the only language that we talk about in the corporate arena.
So what I'm hearing from you, and these are not necessarily expert marketing business ears. This is a radio show host, but what I'm hearing you say is that not only do you invest time and effort in building these messages, but you have utter confidence in their work because you can measure their outcome.
Well, exactly. We have to have the confidence in who we're working with and the tools that we're using. And I need to add one more word for you, the integrated marketing campaign. So when we worked with Alicia to develop this program that included a video, we had to integrate some of her images, some of her words, and then the entire video itself to every other tool that we were using so that we sent that consistent message. Again, nothing happens. You don't get the ROI that you want unless you have that consistent message.
So, and I just want to understand, integrative means not only the tools that company was using, but that would mean the campaign on the website, the Facebook campaign, the Twitter feed. Is that, or am I being very silly about this?
No, you're not. No, you're not. That's part of it. A lot of it could be executive conference calls, PowerPoint presentations.
I see.
Conferences within the company itself.
So it's in multiple venues of the same materials.
Right.
Is that right?
Exactly.
With all with the same call to action, with the same call to action, and I say the same meaning for the target audience, but I know we're running out of time. So having said that, I mean, we had to tell them at the end of the video like what was needed for them to do to get that ROI.
Okay, and I think you've done it. Now, yes, I want to thank you, each and every one of you, because I think what we've been able to do is bring our listeners into that magical realm of YouTube, building your videos, making your business grow, and considering, as Lea-Ann put it, understanding, this integrative marketing. It's got to be consistent across multiple digital platforms. Thank you for joining us today. I'll be here next week. You bring the lunch, and I'll bring the courage cocktail.